In Romans chapter 2, verses 1 through 16, the Apostle Paul continues to talk about God's judgment. And he begins in verses 1 through 11 by describing how Jews, and again, remember, Paul was raised a Pharisee, and our verse for today is verse 16, where in the middle of a sentence, Paul says, "On the day when, according to my gospel, God through Jesus Christ will judge the secret thoughts of all." Now, I don't know about you, but that takes most of us aback a little bit, right? We can try so hard to manage our outward behavior, our external behavior that other people can see and observe, right? So we want people to think well of us or to think we're a decent person or a good Christian. And so with God's help, with the Spirit's help, we try externally live as well as we can. But Paul says that God through Jesus Christ will judge the secret thoughts of all. Have you ever pondered that? I mean, really thought about that for a moment? Because just speaking for myself, I know there are times when I think something, but I don't say it. or I think something, but I refrain from acting on what I'm thinking. Can you relate to that at all? I suspect you can. But part of what this says to me is that God is so concerned about our character, our spirit, our inner being, that God doesn't want to just change our external behavior, right? But God wants to transform our mind. And we're going to hear that by the time we get to Romans chapter 12. And this is one of those kind of foreshadowing seed thoughts, if you will, that Paul is sowing early in his letter, that, wow, if God through Jesus is going to judge the secret thoughts of every single person, well, how do I change my thought life so that my thoughts are pure? And that kind of thing is really important. We can think back to the ministry of Jesus, where it's not what goes into a person in terms of food, but it's what comes out of the heart of a person that defiles a person. How do we renovate our heart and our mind so that we think and feel in a holier and purer way that is honoring to God, so that we would not be embarrassed or ashamed if Jesus Christ knew all of our thoughts? That's a high standard, isn't it? But this is part of what we are called to. I pray today you will do all to be pure in heart and in thought.